Sandra, let's bring in Jonathan Turley, law professor at George Washington University and a Fox News contributor. Professor, welcome.
Thank you, Mike.
So let's start with this probe by the New York Attorney General, the former president invoking the Fifth Amendment right today. Your thoughts on that?
You know, I've been very critical of James and how she's approached some of these investigations in the past. She ran for office on the pledge that she would essentially bag Trump or his associates. I wrote at the time that I thought that was really deeply inappropriate. There wasn't any specificity. It was sort of a thrill-kill pledge. And I thought at that time that it really danced along the edge of ethics. So there's a lot of mistrust here, a lot of bad blood here between James and the Trump organization. The invocation of the Fifth Amendment is certainly his right, even though the president has previously made fun of others using it. In a civil case, you can draw some inferences from it. We've seen in the January 6th committee, they continually refer to people taking the Fifth, which I also believe is inappropriate. In this case, this is a classic situation, as the former president noted. This is a civil matter, but there is a collateral criminal proceeding going on, and so there is a risk of self-incrimination.
Okay, to the raid of Mar-a-Lago, we're about 48 hours after that raid, and no public comments from the Attorney General or the FBI director. I understand that's typically their procedures during an ongoing investigation, but this is anything but your typical investigation. Your thoughts on that?
No, that's right, Mike. I mean, this isn't your typical situation. You know, Newsweek is reporting that they had a confidential informant who told them what was being withheld and where it was. They also say that the FBI wanted to try to lower the profile by conducting the raid while the president was out of town. That's almost borders on the delusional. I mean, the first raid in history on a former president's residence is not going to be low profile. You know what is low profile? A subpoena. You issue a subpoena to get the material instead of descending upon the home of a former president with dozens of FBI agents. But there really is an expectation for many of us that Attorney General Garland will come and answer some of these questions as to why the raid was necessary, when discussions were going on, why they couldn't use a subpoena. There's some very basic questions that won't undermine any investigation. Also, people have suggested that this was really a pretextual effort to find January 6th material. The Attorney General could shoot that down. In my view, that would be deeply unethical if they told the court this was about finding classified evidence while intending to use it to try to find other types of evidence.
We're nearly out of time, but are you surprised the former president or somebody on his team has not released the search warrant?
I am, and that's a lack of transparency on the Trump side. They can release certainly the first page of that warrant that was used. Why wouldn't you release that? Obviously, they don't believe that's in their self-interest, but that is another example of the lack of transparency on both sides. I think they should release that information so that we could try to get a better handle on what has occurred here, because there are serious concerns on both sides.
Jonathan Turley, thank you so much for your time and your analysis today.
Thank you, Mike.